Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. Hope you all are doing well. Today I am going to discuss the second part of root, that is adventitious root. In last lecture we have discussed the first type of root, that was the tap root. So adventitious root can be defined as the root which arises from any part of the plant other than the radicle. So what is this radicle? We know this radicle is the small portion of embryo which is present inside the seed. So any part of the plant, what does it mean? Any part of the plant mean it may arise from the stem, leaves, internodes or any other structure of plant, but it must not be radical. So there are different types of adventitious roots. Basically there are 5 types of adventitious roots. We will discuss these all 5 types one by one. The first type is subterranean or underground adventitious root. अगर हम उर्दू के अंदर subterranean और underground का मीनिंग देखें तो इसका मतलब है ज़ेरे ज़मीन, mean below the ground. So these are the adventitious roots which arises from the stem, that stem which is in contact with the soil. So this subterranean or underground adventitious root is further divided into 2 types. The first is the fibrous adventitious root and the second one is the tuberous adventitious root. So what is fibrous adventitious root? Fibrous adventitious root is actually long cylindrical root arises from creeping or underground stem. So what is the meaning of creeping? Creeping mean वो stem जो ज़मीन के साथ move कर रही हो, ज़मीन के साथ grow कर रही हो. अगर हम इसके अंदर example देखें, so the best example is grasses and the other one is ginger. तो grasses का अगर आप स्ट्रक्चर देखें, if this is the soil and this is the upper part of soil, तो हम ये देखेंगे कि ये जो स्टेम है जो कि सॉइल के ऊपर क्रीप कर रही है, this stem is creeping on the soil surface, and from this stem the small roots arises which are known as the fibrous roots. If we see the other example, that is ginger, if we see the ginger, this is present inside the soil, and from this ginger cylinder branches arises, long cylinder branches arises which are known as the fibrous adventitious roots. तो ये जो जिंजर है इसको हम कॉमन लैंग्वेज के अंदर, उर्दू ज़ुबान के अंदर हम इसको अदरक कहते हैं. तो आप ये दोनों एग्जांपल्स जो हैं, you can observe these 2 examples at your own homes. The other part is the tuberous adventitious root. So tuberous adventitious root is different from the fibrous adventitious root. The fibrous adventitious root was actually long and slender, while the tuberous adventitious root is swollen and little bit fleshy as compared to the fibrous adventitious root. So we can define tuberous adventitious root as swollen and fleshy root having stored food. The best example is sweet potato. अब स्वीट पोटैटो को हम कॉमन लैंग्वेज के अंदर इसको हम शक्करकंदी भी कहते हैं. अब अगर हम इस प्लांट को देखें तो दिस पोर्शन ऑफ प्लांट इज प्रेजेंट इन द सॉइल. अब ये जो सॉइल के अंदर पोर्शन है, यहाँ पर बहुत सारी आपको रूट्स नज़र आ रही हैं. दीज रूट्स आर एक्चुअली नोन एज द ट्यूबरस रूट. Some of the tuberous roots get enlarged in size, become swollen and fleshy and known as the storage roots, or in other words also known as the tuberous root. अब ये जो स्वीट पोटैटो है जिसको हम उर्दू के अंदर शक्करकंदी कहते हैं, ये रिजेम्बलेंस रखता है पोटैटो के साथ जिसको हम उर्दू के अंदर आलू कहते हैं. बट रिमेंबर देयर इज़ अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन स्वीट पोटैटो and the normal potato, the difference is this sweet potato is swollen and fleshy root, while that potato is swollen and fleshy stem. So this is the difference between sweet potato and potato. So the next part, the next type of the adventitious root is partially subterranean adventitious root. So partially mean half. If we see the definition of these roots, we can define the roots which are partially above and partially below the ground. Partially mean half. तो ये आधी जो हैं ये ज़मीन के अंदर होंगी और आधी जो हैं ये ज़मीन के बाहर प्रेजेंट होंगी. So these partially subterranean adventitious roots are further divided into three types. The first one are the prop roots. अब prop roots को अगर हम कॉमन लैंग्वेज के अंदर देखें, उर्दू के अंदर देखें, तो prop का मतलब है थामना या सहारा देना. अब ये prop roots actually वो roots हैं which are arises from the aerial part of the plant, mean which arises from the stem, grow vertically downward and touches the soil and finally enter into the soil. So if we see the structure of a tree, that is banyan tree, जिसको हम कॉमन उर्दू ज़बान के अंदर बरगद का दरख्त भी कहते हैं. अगर आप banyan tree को देखें तो इसकी जो स्टेम होती हैं वो इन स्टेम से स्ट्रक्चर्स अराइज होते हैं जो डाउन टू द सॉइल ग्रो करते हैं और फाइनली सॉइल के अंदर इंटर हो जाते हैं. So these are the structures which are known as the prop roots, which are growing towards the gravity, towards the soil and finally enter into soil, and from this soil these roots absorb water and nutrients and provide to the upper part of the plant. After some time, these roots get thickened in their size, get enlarged in their size and becomes the pillars for that plant. अब ये pillars बन जाते हैं, ये supportive बन जाते हैं और ये उस plant को support करते हैं, उस plant को थाम लेते हैं, उस plant के लिए beneficial role play करते हैं. So the function of prop roots is to absorb water, nutrients, and on thickness these act as pillars, or in other words we can say as supporter of the plant. So the next type is stilt roots. We can define the stilt roots as the roots arises from the lower part of the stem and grow tilt towards the soil. अगर हम एक प्लांट को देखें, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम मेज़ को देखें जिसको हम उर्दू के अंदर मकई कहते हैं, या हम शुगर कैन को देखें जिसको हम उर्दू के अंदर गन्ना कहते हैं, तो आपको इस किस्म की रूट्स नज़र आएंगी. जो स्टेम का लोअर पोर्शन होगा वहाँ रूट्स ग्रो करेंगी विच ग्रो टिल्ट. टिल्ट मीन थोड़ी सी तिरछी होंगी, थोड़ी सी कर्व्ड होंगी और ये ज़मीन के अंदर क्या होंगी, इंटर होंगी, ज़मीन के साथ अटैच हो जाएंगी. Now, what is the function of these stilt roots? These stilt roots actually keep this maize plant, keep this sugar plant in an erect position. So the last type of partially subterranean adventitious roots are the aerating roots. These aerating roots are the roots which actually grow from the stem downward or grow from the root and project upward or grow above the soil. If we see the mangrove plant which is present in waterlogged soil, मीन ऐसी soil के अंदर present होते हैं जहाँ पानी ज़्यादा होता है, जहाँ पानी की concentration ज़्यादा होती है. जब पानी की concentration soil के अंदर increase करती है तो वहाँ पर oxygen जो है उसकी deficiency होना शुरू हो जाती है. तो ये plants क्या करते हैं, इनकी जो roots हैं, that roots grow actually upward and project out of the ground. So this is the ground, and now these roots are growing towards the upper side, towards the ground. So we can see this example in mangroves. And what is the function of these aerating roots? These helps the plant in the process of aeration, mean exchanges of gases with the air. Thank you so much.